right, with the Hebrew Israelites, come out week in, week out, prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. It's run by this so-called white man. He's an Edomite. First, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone. Salutations to the archangel, teach his word, sincerity and truth, and blessings to the elect of 1/3, predestined to be saved. Alright? I will come out on Saturday again to do the Lord's work, but in the last 7 days, we've had a lot of things happening and signs to show you that this place is more or less finished, man. Alright? Because a lot of businesses, I think Toys R Us went out of business, what, 6 months ago? Homebase, they said it might be bankrupt. And now they had another one, Valerie Bakers, called Valerie Patisserie. It's here in London. And 22,000 staff are going to be laid off, man. So this place is crumbling. Alright? But that's good. So you're not supposed to put your confidence in this place. Alright? You're supposed to put your confidence in who? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Alright? Because this is going to wither away, basically. You know? What one did I ask you to get? Oh, no, sorry. Alright, read that one.
Isaiah 30 verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel but know of me.
Yep.
And that take cover with a covering but not of my spirit.
That's it. Now, everything we do is in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? Oh, it's supposed to be. Okay. See?
That they may add sin to sin.
Add sin to sin. That's why the word iniquity means sin, not keeping the commandments, man.
Thou wouldst to go down into Egypt and have no asked at my mouth.
There you go. Go down to Egypt, man. Did not the Bible say is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? You can get that one, Jeremiah 2 and 14.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel will know of me.
Yep.
And that cover with a covering will know of my spirit.
Yep.
And let me add sin to sin.
Yep.
Thou wouldst to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth.
That's it. The Lord said, ask in his name. You got the names. Alright? Yahweh and Yahushua. Alright? If you're in this sanctuary, man, any other name than Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is profane, man. Outside the temple. Alright? There's only one name.
That wouldst to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth.
Also ask the Heavenly Father about your needs, man. Said he will provide everything you need.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
Yep.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Yeah, that's it. They trust in this system, this military, their doctrines, so forth. It's fornication, man. Alright? See?
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
That's it. And this place is a ball of confusion, man. And you, so-called black people, you're confused about your nationality. And then we're coming out to tell you, you know. But in 4 years of me doing this, none of them get excited that they're Israelites, man. Not once. Okay? But you know why? Because they trust in Egypt, man. They trust in, got that one, Jeremiah 2:14? Yeah.
Give it here.
Yeah.
Give it here.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave?
So call it and read it again.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14.
Yep.
Is Israel a servant?
Yep.
Is he a homeborn slave?
Yep.
Why is he spoiled?
See, it says, is he a homeborn slave? The Lord's saying that you Israelites have a slave mentality, man. Right? And in the time we're in, we ain't got time for that, man. Alright? See?
Young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste.
And what's going to happen very soon is this Third World War, man. That's going to put an end to this wicked society. But go back to the top again, because listen to what he's saying. Are you a homeborn slave, man?
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 14.
Yep.
Is Israel a servant?
Yep.
Is he a homeborn slave?
Yep.
Why is he spoiled?
And when you spoil something, you take those people's goods away, man. And they took everything back, away from us. Really, the Lord did, but now he's giving it back, man. And he's doing it by being against the society and destroying the society. You finished with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the time we're in now, it's almost like a sand countdown clock, you know, an Edomite timer. Now this week we had, what's it called, a company over here in England called Valerie Patisserie, and they're a massive chain of bakers and lattes or whatever. They recently did a deal with Sainsbury's, man, to have their bakers in the Sainsbury's. This week they're saying they're going out of business. All right, we're gonna read that. We're gonna read the article on it. Now this is from independent.co.uk. All right, and it says Patisserie Valerie chief, Patisserie Valerie's finance chief arrested. All right, after black hole found in accounts. Right. Staff told not to talk about the ongoing financial crisis as the cafe chain faces closure after accounting irregularities uncovered and putting thousands of the UK jobs at risk. Okay. The finance chief, Chris Mark, has been arrested on suspicion of fraud days after the company revealed a black hole in its accounts. Mr. Marsh was arrested on Thursday night and has been released on bail, the Cafe Group said in a statement to the London Stock Exchange. In the statement, he said, it's about the guy they arrested, he has been released under investigation. But the main point there, they said what? Almost what? 22,000 of the staff there have their jobs, what's it called? They're gonna lose their jobs. Now, that doesn't sound like an empire that's rising. That sounds like an empire that's falling, man. Okay? And that, I think this is like the fourth company in 2018, massive one, that is going out of business. House of Fraser as well. Alright? So the Lord's showing you, man. He's bringing this place down really, really low. Archie, you got something?
Revelation 17, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast with the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
That's it. And that's talking about the EU, man. Okay, see?
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
And they know in America, those elites, so Apostle Tahar did it. They went to, I think, I can't remember what museum it was, but he showed this singer, she's an Israelite singer, Colombian woman, I can't remember her name, and she was dressed like the, what's it called? What's that statue in New York? Statue of Liberty, that's it. Which really is the whole of Babylon, man. Alright? And he saw her posing like that and all that. See, the elites, they know who they are according to this Bible, man. Okay?
That's it. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
That's right. And her fornication is her doctrines, man. Democracy. We're going to Iraq to give democracy. Now look at the place, man. Okay? And all these, I was thinking about this the other week, all these nations have bought into Esau's philosophy, man. Because in Saudi Arabia now, they let women drive now. Before they never used to. Oh, and they've got cinemas there, erotic cinemas. Anything this devil exports, these other nations adopt it, man. That's why it tells you they're not Muslim at all.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
There you go. Read that bit again.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
When anything says great, it's about large, big, man. And this Babylon, the word Babylon means confusion, is America, man. Because that's all it breeds, is straight confusion. So these businesses are going down. Because they say that England and America got a special relationship, which they do have. But at the end of the day, the Lord said the devil will be loose for a short season. Finish out? Finish it?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 7, saying with a loud voice.
It's like it. Put it read again.
Revelation chapter 14 verse 7,
Yep.
saying with a loud voice, fear the Most High and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come.
Yep.
And worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountain of water.
Not supposed to be worship anything else, man. Right? But this kingdom, they worship all kinds of gods, man. Same with Indonesia. That's why they got an earthquake. Right?
And they followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink wine of the wrath of her fornication.
So you can leave it there. Right. So it says, just read it a bit again quickly, ladies.
And they followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
And that's what I mean. That's why it's called a new world order. Right? A new world order, one world government, man. And the nations that are not with it, Esau bombs them, puts in his puppet, you know, and then the process continues, man. Okay? They've all bought into Esau's philosophy, his doctrines, man. Okay? Revelations 20 verse 1.
Revelations 20 verse 1.
Yep.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit is Europe. It has no resources.
And a great chain in his hand.
Yep.
And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Bound him 1,000 years, yeah? So pull everything again up.
Revelation 20 verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. Okay? And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Yeah, and that was when we took over Europe, man. Alright? When the Roman Empire got taken over by our people, through Septimius Severus, and they call that 193 AD to 300 AD, they call it what? The Holy Roman Empire. But that was us coming back into power, man. Okay? But our people, they got arrogant in that time, man. And they fell down, but there's a more and there's a quiet time.
They say, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
And that's another scripture that you can use to prove that the white man is a devil, because the word devil means what? From a Latin word diablos, which means what? Deceiver. Alright? They said what? Do that bit again, don't deceive the nations.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, you must be loosed a little season.
That's it. That's the main point. After that, you must be loose a little season, man. Alright? So they had that, what's that period they call it? The Renaissance period. And the word Renaissance means rebirth. Rebirth of what? The Roman Empire, man. America's got a Congress and a Senate, so did the Romans, man. But now, like we showed you with the article, all these companies going out of business, this man is going out of power. But he said what? He'll be loose for a short season. Alright? But they don't think that way, man. They think they're going to rule forever. Finished?
It says, Proverbs chapter 11 verse 18, the wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward.
That's it. We want those rewards, man. That reward is the kingdom. And we need this kingdom, man, because we're not living good here at all, man. Alright? But the Lord is showing you signs that this place is falling down, man. And it ain't going to get back up again. One guy tried to say that when he went to our brothers in San Francisco camp. He said, if you put us in slavery, won't we come out and put you back in slavery? No, man. That's not going to happen. Alright? Any more now?
So it said, a wicked worketh a deceitful work. That's the main point.
Yep.
This is Proverbs chapter 12 verse 20.
Yep.
Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but the counselors of peace is joy.
There you go. I said deceit. Deceiving. diablos, deceiver. See, the Lord repeats himself, man. But it's for those who have ears to hear. Okay?
Proverbs 12 verse 5. Proverbs 12 verse 5. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceit.
There you go. Like deceit. That's all this place is built on. Lies, robbery. Like the apostles, not last week, the week before, I watched them do the live stream. They weren't watching it live, but you know, once they finish it, it's on there. And to me, I prefer it because the apostles were all together, like Apostle Tahar, the Bar and the Raimla, and one of the other elders, man. What Apostle Bar, he was talking about America. He said, listen, the word America means what? Bitter. All right? And it was conceived bitterly by taking out our people, man. And that's how it's going to go out. It's going to go out bitter. Okay? You want that?
So I say, So it says, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor,
Yep.
but the way of the wicked seduceth them.
That's right. Seduces our people, man. The 2/3 anyway. All right. The elect is not going to be a deceit.
What a piece of
We got a piece of it. Okay. The elect is not going to be a deceit. That's how you know Great Millstone is the #1 camp to learn from. All these other camps, they never speak about the elect, man. And it's all about the elect. You know? Or anytime a so-called black woman comes up, they call her sis. They're not sisters, man.
Oh, okay.
They're not sisters. Oh yeah? They're not sisters, man. Who's my sister? Who's my brother? The one that doesn't will their father, man. Any black woman coming up to them, sis. Listen, they ain't, look, you have to look at our, I said it last week, you got to treat them as heathens, man. They're heathens, all right? I'm not down with this. If we read those articles about this place, companies going out of business, the black woman's not going to be clapping her hands saying, yeah, that's good.
Where they here?
Yeah,
There should be thousands of them.
Yeah.
Trying to hear the word, trying to be down with the Lord and the kingdom to come.
That's it.
They're not there, they're not here.
They're not here, man.
They're partaking in Egypt, in oppression.
They're not here. So at the end of the day, you know, wasting your time, man. All right? You want that?
Because we're talking about the serpent. Matthew's chapter 10, verse 16.
Yep.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents
Yep.
and harmless as doves.
And I say one thing on that, right? Because you got these different Hebrew camps out there, and I mean I don't have to name the camp. There's no need for that, right? But I'm just making the point. The point of the matter is you got these camps that that try to present this kind of this proud warrior spirit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they're trying to present like they got the kind of power where they can take Esau down. Okay, but what's happening is they're playing along with Esau with his agenda, because his agenda is to pretty much have all the different Hebrew Israelite camps classified as extremists.
Yeah.
So if you're pretty much being highly exalted when you speak, we're supposed to do that. Because the scripture says exalt the voice, so we're supposed to do that. But at the same time, we use wisdom. Because the scripture says the law senders out there sheep amongst wolves. And anybody out here, man, hey, if it comes down to it, if we do something wrong or whatever to them, they can call 999 and we're the ones getting hemmed up.
That's right.
Okay, or the cops will come around and they can say we're gonna arrest you guys or whatever because you said one thing wrong or whatever, and then you were on the internet on top of that. So you gotta be looking out for everything. You gotta be careful what you say and how you present yourself. You can't be coming on this that's the word I want. You can't be coming on this militant level because we're not the military. Okay, we don't have no nuclear capability. We don't have no AR-15s and Gatling guns. We don't got all of that. And all we have is the word.
Yeah.
So we gotta use wisdom. We can't be saying, "Oh yeah, Yahweh Shai, he was an extremist." Because you playing right into the hand of Esau when you do that.
You can't give off like a carnal vibe. You got certain guys that's in like the circle of Israel, talking about all camps collectively. That you wanna put on the battle armor. You wanna look all, like you're about to go into the war with the Philistines. And that's this. You're giving off this like carnal. You know what I'm saying? The military, like you're about to enter into war, man.
Right.
The scripture says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
Exactly.
That they're spiritual.
Exactly.
So our sword is spiritual. Our armor is spiritual. Our helmet is spiritual. The scriptures, I think that's in Ephesians. Put on the whole armor. Lord. So it's all spiritual. And you got certain guys that are ignorant in the circle of Israel, and they want to turn something spiritual into something carnal. They're trying to attract carnal niggas to a spiritual, something that's supposed to be spiritual. Alright, so you got the wrong type of guys in the circle of Israel. Alright, they've got the wrong mentality, completely. Okay.
Because when you check it out, if you do try to do one little thing or whatever, hey, guess what? You're gonna be the one that's gonna be under the pits, man. You're the one that's gonna be incarcerated under the pit. And they can just say, look, man, we just gonna give you some time. And you're gonna be in it. Okay, so you gotta use wisdom out here, man, because at the end of it, when it's all said and done, whose kingdom is this? This is Esau's kingdom. The scripture says, if Yahweh Shai was set on, or this was his kingdom, we would all fight. All right? And it tells you that in Romans 3. Matter of fact, if you can get that, brother, I'm not trying to interject here. Just gonna make a good point. Because this is not a carnal thing, this is a spiritual war.
Romans 3 verse 3, right?
I think it's Romans 13. Verse
1. Romans 13 verse 1. That every soul is subject unto the higher powers. There is no power above the Most High.
Right, because who set the power structure up? The Most High set up the power structure. So if one's trying to fight over that power structure, and you get done for it, then whose fault is that? It's your fault because you knew the deal. Okay, and some guys don't know, and this is why I say personally, if you've probably done a year or 2 years in the truth, all right, it's best to learn on the guys that's already got the information, that already have the understanding, rather than you just going out there by yourself. You don't need to do all of that. Because back then, the camps were just being set up. And nowadays, you ain't got to set up your own camp. What you got to do is come under the banner of, a camp that's in your area. That's all you got to do, because you got a lot of guys, they out there, and they got the wrong, they pretty much presenting the wrong kind of spirit. Okay? And this is why certain guys, they get messed up, locked up and all of that stuff, man. Okay? Because you got guys that already have positions and they have the experiences. So it's best to come up with those guys instead, rather than you going out there. Now, if you live in an area where there's no camp, then yeah, you do your thing. Okay, if the spirit or one of the apostles needs you to do your own thing, yeah, you do what you gotta do. But if you ain't got to, you ain't got to. Okay, go on, bro.
There is no power but of the Most High.
Yeah.
The powers that be are ordained of the Most High.
Exactly, the powers that be, which is the powers of Esau right now. Because the so-called white man, he was ordained to rule by the Most High. The Most High put him in power. So we have to understand these things, man. And being that we understand this, now we know how to walk. We know how to. We can be more circumspect now. Right? I can't do this. I can't do certain things, because if I do certain things, it's gonna be the recompense. There's gonna be a consequence. But you got guys out there just pretty much on that war spirit, man. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Pointing at people and shit.
Yeah.
That's how you get yourself in trouble, man. Okay, and then you got this geezer in this camp talking about, oh yeah, I was shot. Yeah, he was militant. He was an extremist. Yeah, you guys are soft now. You guys are softballs now, because you ain't trying to present that. No, we're not trying to present that. Because we all understand that Esau got all the weapons. He got the military. He got the SWAT team. He got the nuclear capability. He got the guns. you can't be Esau with his own blessing. Esau's blessing was that of the carnal. So our blessing is the spiritual. And that's how we're going to defeat this devil, by using the spiritual, which is the scriptures. Okay?
Right, because at the end of the day, you can't go toe to toe with this devil, man. That's why Yahushua, his name means what? Savior. It's his job to save us, man.
Because it's like this, bro. I mean to cut in, right? It's like this. In comparison, we're pretty much the ant in comparisons to Esau. Esau is like the elephant in the room. We have to maneuver smartly, man. And that's how a serpent is. See what a serpent does, a snake. Or even a lion for that matter. I'm gonna tell you something about a lion, right? See what a lion will do. A lion will try to devour prey that's already being broken. Okay, or that's weak. So the deal for us is to be like onto a serpent. That's why the scripture says, be as what is it? Wise as serpents, harmless as doves.
Yeah, when you look up the word serpent or dragon, it's a physical representation of wisdom.
Exactly.
The serpent is known for being wise. Right?
Exactly.
Psalms 58 verse 1. Do ye, and the serpent, not talking about a nation.
That's right.
Not me to come.
It's alright, it's alright.
It's not an actual serpent. Right? Now, it says Psalms 58 verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Right? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. So the sons of men are violent, right?
Yep.
Was that not the blessing of Esau?
Exactly.
And ye work wickedness, right? The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right, because it's in them to be wicked. It's in them to be off. Like we say, when we curse out Esau, the first thing he says, it's because the color of my skin. You say it because I'm white. That's it. Ain't because of that. It's because of what you are. You're the devil. There's something in you. You're the wicked. It's something that scripture says that you're estranged from the womb. Before you're even born, you're created to be the wicked. You know, the spirit, the Most High has put a spirit in you to be the wicked. That's what you was created to do. Right. As soon as you're born, you start speaking lies, man. All right. Esau is all about lies. It says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. All right. So it says their poison is like the poison of a serpent. So it's likened the wicked unto what? A serpent. Okay. And what do serpents do? Lies, deception. The wicked worketh for deceitful work. Okay. So that's that. So that it ties in with Revelation 20. And it says they deceive the nations. Okay. And basically, how do you deceive the nations? By lying. Okay. By using your violence. What did it say? It said, you weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. And so through their violence, they lie and try to put their violence onto others and try to make others look like the violent people. Okay?
That's true. That's why it says this man has turned everything upside down, man. Right? Totally upside down. And that's all his job was. It's just to be the Lord's sword. Finish that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The other one is Psalm 17 and 30. Is it 13? Where it says, the wicked is my sword.
Psalm 17, verse 12. Let me start with verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
That's it. And when we had the so-called the Black Panthers, what happened, man? They were doing revolutionary talk and leather jackets, this, that. Esau took care of them, man. Like Fred Hammond, he was in his bed and they shot through the bed next to his pregnant wife. Why? Because that's his blessing, man. That's his job.
And another reason why the Black Panthers was taken down, because you had Asian provocateurs that penetrated through that whole entire group.
Yep.
Okay, so you had certain agents that was pretty much listening and hearing what they were doing and what they were saying, and they reported it back to the government, and ultimately shut them down. So the thing about it is we're in the household of Esau right now. So you can't. If you're under anybody's household, you gotta go according to their rules and their laws.
That's right.
That's just how the game goes. When we take leadership of the earth, spearheaded by Yahweh Shai, they're gonna be under ours. They can't do what they want to do.
That's right.
Okay, and that's why the zealots and these guys that we read about 2,000 years ago, they were all about taking down Rome, but Rome was ordained to be in power at the time. That's why Paul said things like that, because you had niggas back then that wanted to take down Rome.
Yep.
They never really understood what the intention of Yahweh Shai was. They just thought, okay, yeah, we're gonna follow Yahweh Shai, because he's gonna take down Rome. No, Yahweh Shai, his intention was to do his Father's will. I'm gonna go deeper, right? I'm gonna say what the Apostle Gabar said. His intention was to fulfill prophecy. That was the intention of Yahweh Shai. So being that we're followers of Yahweh Shai, we have to fulfill prophecy. Okay, that's why we come out here and do the work. The reason why we come out here and do the work is to fulfill prophecy. And when you read the scriptures, it tells you on how we fulfill these prophecies. Matter of fact, give me that in Proverbs 1, real quick, brother. Just real quick.
My Lord said the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are what?
A few.
Verse 1.
Yeah, one where it says she cried in the voice of the streets. Wisdom.
Proverbs 1 verse 20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets.
Yeah.
She crieth in the chief place of concourse.
Right, so how is that being fulfilled? By us being out there? Go on.
In the openings of the gates.
Yeah.
In the city.
In the city, where we at? London City. We're not in some back street bush or somewhere. We're in the heart of the city. We're in King's Cross. And then if you want to take a train down, you go out to the streets. So we're in the broad streets where we're seen around the world. The whole world is here. You have people coming from all types of different areas. Okay, you have people coming from let's just say Pakistan, India, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, all these different areas. You're gonna find everybody here. So what are we doing? We're preaching in the streets. And the reason why we're here, because you have Israelites that are scattered amongst the other nations, man. So you got guys on the common board, they're saying, well, why don't you go to the hood? You should go teach in the hood and raise our people up. We don't need to go to no damn hood. Okay, we're doing what the Father said to do. Let's read that again.
It says verse 20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets.
Right.
She crieth in the chief place
In the chief place of what?
concourse.
Of concourse. You see, business, if you go inside, let's just say there's like a phone. You go down there, man. You go downstairs somewhere, there's like stores where people are selling their things. You have Marks, I believe you have Marks Spencer's down there. Okay, you have
Sainsbury's, Tesco.
right, you have Sainsbury's, you have Tesco's, and then you also have a McDonald's across the street. You have the post office down there, Landbrooks, and you have the currency exchange area there. So we're in the right place, the cheap place of conference. That's how the elites are able to recognize the Israelites. Why? Because we're on the broad street. If you're in some back street corner somewhere, who's going to notice you? You're not going to get the notice. And especially if we have the most important message of all, we have to be blowing it out in the street. All right, but the point I want to get to, though, is that we're fulfilling prophecy. Being out, we're gone. And you can get, there's so many scriptures you can get on this, and I'm gonna give back to you, brother.
Okay.
No, verse. I'm reading on from Psalm 17, verse 14.
Right,
Get the verse where it speaks about the Lord set up pastors that shall teach you wisdom and understanding. I want to finish these scriptures. I'm gonna give it back to you.
Right, Jeremiah 3:15.
Yeah, I had to know this.
That's saying that because I've seen some guys in Great Millstone and where they're preaching, there's nothing there, man. Nothing, shops, nothing, man. Like in the country or something.
And I mean, and I'll say this as well. I mean, if you're just a one-man camp, then there's only so much you can do. Because in due time, brothers have to increase in the faith. Some brothers ain't got the kind of faith to do that. It's all based on experience. But when you're in the truth, your intention is to enhance yourself, so that you can go out to these broad streets. You know, because I know for me, man, if I was first coming in and I first started to come out into the street, I wouldn't be out here like this. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm gonna be in some back streets somewhere where there's probably a few people.
What do you mean if you first came in?
Yeah, right. When I first, my first couple of months or years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like that. But mainly, if you have a good brotherhood, that you come in, then that's what you do. Okay, especially if the brothers of experience.
So, Ezekiel 13, verse 4. O Israel, thy prophets are like vultures in the deserts.
Right, go on.
Ye have not gone up into the gaps.
Right, and he likened it onto a desert because we're in dry places, because this place does not have the truth of that. So it's dry in that sense, go on.
Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge in the house of Israel, and stand in the battle in the day of the Lord.
Right, so that's where the prophets are going to be. They're going to be in the gaps, in other words, the streets. The broad streets, as you can see. Any road that you see, we're in the midst of a highway.
And the word gaps mean to repel the enemy, the act of a brave soldier exposed to danger.
Right, so how do you repel the enemy if you're in some back street? You have to be in the enemy's surroundings. That's why we're in King's Cross. The cross of the kings. You see that? So this is the right place to be. And that's why the elders that came down here, they said, look, y'all gonna teach it. All right, and it's worked very well. It's worked out very well. And I'm not gonna lie, boy, it's kind of like the King's Cross. I thought that this was always a place to be anyway. Because you got all kinds of people, man, coming in. The whole world is here, man. You go Peckham, I mean, there's only one group of people that's down there. Just people that have no understanding of what's going on. Niggas pretty much, you can say that. You know, you preach the words to them, they come up, and they only trying to hear for entertainment purposes. You're not coming here to learn. So when you go to these ends, you're wasting your time. You might as well just come out here and do it the right way. This is the right way how to do it. Okay? And like I was saying earlier before, you know, if you're a brother and you only done a couple of months in, or let's just say a year in, you got no choice but to, go out there and teach. I don't expect brothers to go out there in the broad street like that because their faith ain't built up yet. So everything takes time. But once your faith is escalated to a higher degree, and then at the same time the Lord provides you with the brethren to help you, then you gotta do what you gotta do. And if these brothers are known if they're known in the scriptures, you go out here. That's what you do. Alright?
Well, bring it quickly.
Yeah. Go on.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 18. Right. But grow in grace.
Right, but grow in grace. Go on.
And in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua Mashiach.
Exactly, and the Lord and the knowledge of the Lord. So you're growing in this grace because we're under grace. So while we're under grace, we're growing in this truth, and we're also growing in the knowledge. That's how we grow in this truth, by the knowledge. Because I mean, if you just know, like, let's just say you know 5 scriptures or 3 scriptures, how are you going to tackle the people when everybody come up? You're not going to be able to tackle nobody because you're unskilled. So when you develop to a higher degree in the truth and you have the skills, then you could do it. Now you're supposed to go out in the street, and if you got the brothers that are skilled to a certain degree as well, they may not be as skilled as you, but they're skilled enough the way they can quote scriptures and memorize the scriptures, then you hit the streets. Okay? That's what you do, because if you look at all of the major camps in Great Millstone, or damn near all of them, they're in the broad street. Alright? They're in the broad streets. So if you in GMS or CAP or something like that, and you know the scriptures, well enough, then you're supposed to be on the broad street. So that everybody can see. Okay? And then when the Lord comes on the scene, nobody can't say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know, Lord. No, you did know, because he was right in front of your face. And he was all over the internet going.
Isaiah 50 verse 4. The Lord God have given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary.
Right, exactly. So we have to learn tongue. And who do we learn under? We learn under elders, who we call the head apostles of Great Millstone. We learn under them. So now that we're learned, now we're supposed to come out and teach the word. All right, not teach the word of some back street. All right, if you're highly learned, you don't need to be teaching on the back street. Now you need to come out in the streets now, where everybody can see you. The market, the major marketplaces. Okay, that's how it's done.
He wakeneth morning by morning, he wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned.
Right, morning by morning, he waking up my ears to learn.
Right.
Now, are we out every single morning? No, you go check us out on the internet. Because the internet, you could watch the same video time after time after time after time. Okay? But by us producing or making these videos and putting it on, YouTube, brothers are able to learn. Why? Because we'll learn. They're going to read that verse again. That was nice. Not nice, but that was a decent scripture going.
Isaiah 50 verse 4. The Lord God has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary.
Right, and that's how you gotta be. You have to be learned in this thing. You know, you could learn the scriptures at the house, or you could come out, which I recommend brothers to do. You come out and you hear the brothers that are speaking, and you just listen and you regurgitate what you heard. All right, you enter the information that you heard, and then in due time the Lord will bring you in the count if necessary. Okay, go on. Yeah, let me bring this out, and then you can come in. So that's the first thing. The first thing is to learn of the truth, growing the understanding of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Because you got guys out there, they only know about 2 scriptures, and they out there doing the work. But that's all right. That's okay. You understand that the Spirit has propelled you to go out, and you got to go out. There's a scripture that says, "Question out the Spirit." You know, but most likely, what I would do personally is I would study more, put more time into the studying, and then go out. So now when I come across people, I can deal with the people and battle them, because I have to learn tongue. You know?
The priest that says,
matter of fact, read what you got.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 4 verse 10.
Yeah.
And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither herefore too, since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue.
Right.
And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, who hath made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind?
Moses was he didn't believe that he could actually talk to the children of Israel. Okay, but the Lord was dealing with him though. The Lord was dealing with him. Okay, but the point of them, because sometimes you can come out here and you may not know too much scriptures. You may not know too much, but the Lord will build you up in due time. All right, because it's like Moses. Moses wasn't a great eloquent speaker. That's why he used Aaron to speak for the children of Israel. Okay, so that's what we wanted to bring out here.
Okay, a quick precept?
Yeah, go on.
Ephesians chapter 5 verse 18.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him read this last scripture and I'm going to give it back to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll read that first, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
No, you read what you got. Read what you got.
Read what I got,
He's
yeah?
looking for that. Yeah.
Ephesians chapter 5 verse 18. And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit.
Right, be filled with the Spirit. Be not drunken with excess of wine, but be ye filled with the Spirit. And that's another thing too, is the Spirit. It's got to be on you. Because if the Spirit ain't on you to teach, then you got to just chill back. Okay, lay low in the cup for a bit and learn the scriptures. And then go out there. All right, when you feel like you've learned enough, and the Spirit has propelled you to go out, if the Spirit is propelling you to go out, now you go out.
Isaiah, reading on verse 5, the Lord God hath opened mine ear, and I was not rebellious neither turned away back.
That's Isaiah, right? Yeah, go on.
That's a good verse.
Yeah.
So
So
we neither turned away back,
Yep.
enduring to the end.
yeah.
You know, not taking your hand from the plow, not turning back,
Yeah.
because you're not fit for the kingdom.
Right.
You know, that's the mentality and spirit that's of the man of the Lord, it's of the elect.
Exactly.
Okay, and then not being rebellious. There's certain guys in the truth that are rebels, man. Okay. So it says, verse 6, I gave my back to the smiters and my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair. I hid not my face from shame.
Yeah, we'll deal with you. We'll
And-
deal with you. You
and
got a
switch
question?
it.
We'll deal with you.
I just need to know which version you're reading.
Oh, the Bible.
Yeah, which version?
Oh, the King James.
Alright? So yeah. It says, for the Lord God will help me, therefore shall I not be confounded.
Yeah.
Therefore have I set my face like a flint,
Right.
and I know that I shall not be ashamed.
Right. So, because Isaiah, you know, there was a point in time where Isaiah, he didn't want to teach the word. Okay. But the Spirit still propelled him to go teach.
That's Jeremiah.
Oh, that's Jeremiah. Right. What am I talking about? Let's do that again.
Verse 7, for the Lord God will help me, therefore shall I not be confounded.
Right. So the Lord power will help you. So again, if the Spirit, that's the Holy Spirit. So if the Holy Spirit is with you, then in due time, He will elevate you. Okay? Like you may know, let's just say 6 scriptures even. Might not be that much scriptures. But in due time, if you believe in what you're doing, then your belief or your faith will enhance. Okay, the Lord will give you more of the gift of faith. So you can continue to do His work. Okay, so it's multiple different things when you come in this thing. First and foremost, you gotta learn. Alright? Give yourself a reasonable amount of time to learn the scriptures. Okay, and then if anything, if the Spirit propels you to go out and teach the word, and you may know a few scriptures, you still gotta go out there and teach. Alright? And then if you do that, then the Lord will elevate you to a whole other level. Or different levels. So it's all based on faith, really. It's all based on faith. Go on, man.
Colossians 4 verse 6, let your speech be always with grace,
Yeah, that's all I wanted to bring out. I want to bring it back to him.
seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
Finish, yeah?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. This is, I'll bring it, please. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest. Eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. Verse 2. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll.
Hey, brother, can I say, matter of fact, brother, you jump in there. You say something about that. Jump in.
Come on. Want to read it again,
Yeah,
yeah?
read that again.
I'll read it again. Alright. Ezekiel chapter 3 verse 1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel.
This roll is talking about the volume of this book. Okay? And this scriptures, this knowledge, this wisdom, knowledge, understanding is likened unto food. Different types of food, like bread,
Nutritious food.
meat, what else? Wine, water, okay, milk, alright? And other things, man. And there's certain levels to this truth, like honey, okay, truth likened unto honey, okay, butter, what else? Okay, and there's certain, like I said, there's certain levels to this truth.
Oh, manna too. It's like
Yeah, the manner, okay, spiritual meat, okay, and when you come to this truth, the first basic to this truth is like milk, because you're a babe, okay, and then when you grow in this truth, you become more rooted and grounded, then you can start upgrading the starch of the knowledge that you're receiving. The knowledge that you're receiving is more deep, okay? Then you're required to eat meat. Things that are adult with full set of teeth, a more stronger digestive system. His body is able to digest the food more and hold the food more. That if you told a guy that first came into the truth, he probably is buck up against it because his body, his spiritual mind is not able to hold that type of knowledge. So he'll regurgitate that knowledge, man. Because he's a babe. If you fed a babe like a full steak meal, he'll choke and die, man.
Yeah, I got a verse for you too, brother. Yeah, this is Isaiah 28, verse 7. Yeah, just spare me because my voice is still a bit, So it says, but they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink.
Right.
They are swallowed up of wine.
They're swallowed up of wine.
They are out of the way through strong drink.
They're out of the way through strong drink.
They err in vision and they stumble in judgment.
See, even when it comes to wine, you want to drink wine moderately. Because if you back it all up at once, you're going to start doing saying all kind of madness that you shouldn't be saying, doing all kind of things that you shouldn't be doing. So saying in its truth, it's meant to like, you're going to digest it bit by bit. That's why when guys come up and they want to hear the whole thing all at once, they're saying, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You're going to have to learn by and by. We can't just give it to you. You need more time. All right? Because the brother just read, they're swallowed up of strong drink. Meaning it's pure, different philosophies that is completely off. Okay? Completely out of the way. They're going off. Okay? So this truth, this knowledge is likened unto what? Wine. Okay? That if a man take too much, it can knock him out, man.
That's like
especially if you come in, you're like a babe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? You're gonna take this shit in moderation.
Yeah.
Alright? You can't just take the whole thing one full swoop. Otherwise you're gonna go off. Alright?
First Peter chapter 2, verse 2. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word.
Desire the sincere milk of what? The word. So you're gonna desire. You're gonna have a desire for this thing, man. I mean, when you first came into the truth, brothers can have their own experiences. You really, man, are supposed to be on fire, man. Yeah. Okay? At first, you can't believe what we're hearing. You're hearing that we're actually the Jews. We're not Africans. The Jews are at first you're hearing black. The Jews are black. That Jesus Christ, that so-called Jesus Christ was a black man, was a brother. You're thinking, what? You know what I'm saying? And especially some brothers, you're coming from more conscious backgrounds, like Pan-Africanism, or Egyptology,
Christianity,
right? You know what I'm trying to say? What else? Like more, being conscious about who you are as, a so-called black man, right?
Yeah.
When you hear this truth, you're on fire, man. So you have a desire for this thing. It says desire the sincere milk of this word. Right. Alright, so another thing, you have to be sincere.
Right.
Because the scripture said wisdom will not enter into a malicious soul. And you read on the book of Wisdom of Solomon, man, the first chapter, wisdom will not enter into a malicious soul. Alright?
Finish this one?
Yeah.
Let's finish this one, alright? As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
Wow. Alright, it said, as newborn babes, okay, read that again, bro.
First Peter chapter 2, verse 2. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
Right, so when you come to this thing, you can't be up here trying to take positions of authority, trying to think you can tell. Alright? Guys that's been in the truth for how many amount of years, what the truth is, man. You're a babe, okay? You just came in, okay? These guys throw me off.
I'll see it. First Peter 2 and 3.
Hello.
If so, be ye have tested the Lord of grace.
I don't mean to cut. This is what I mean about drinking wine in moderation.
Manifested itself. Yes, Spirit.
This is what happens, man. This is what happens, man. And this is what would happen to you. Too much of the truth in one go.
Brother, can I say one thing? That's why you got a lot of guys. They're staggering.
You feel me?
They're taking too much.
You don't need to film, so they're going to be on YouTube.
Or they don't stay too quick.
Why do you want to film them?
So they'll stagger and they'll get certain things wrong.
I'm asking you, because you don't need to film them. I'm asking you politely, not to film them. They don't want to be filmed.
There's a public
See, if you
place.
take, so say if you're a babe and you take the meat, like the issue of, you know, rape or whatever, and then you get twisted. You start thinking that, oh, they're saying you're gonna go out there and rape people. You're going off. That's you going off. You're taking wine in excess. All right. So you're meant to desire the milk. All right, basics. Knowing that you're an Israelite. Knowing the true physical appearance of the one we call Jesus Christ. Okay, knowing who the wicked is. When the Bible speaks about the serpent, okay, the man of sin, knowing who that is today. Okay, knowing how the so-called white man and the other nations, how they fit inside the Bible, and who their biblical nationalities are. Okay, knowing who the Edomites are. Okay, knowing who salvation is for, knowing the truth of the gospel. Okay, who the gospel is for. That's basic. That's just AO1. That's foundation. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Revelations 12. This is Revelations 12, verse 3. It says, I there beheld another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
7 crowns on his head.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
His tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Now, this is going into the ancient pagan Roman Empire. Okay? But basically, they had rulership over the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay? Because at this time, the northern kingdom, they had already long time migrated to the Americas, man, after the Assyrian captivity. Okay? So they said that the beast, the red, so read that again.
It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon.
A great red dragon, red, that's the main point, meaning it's ruled by the red people, the Edomites, the so-called Europeans or so-called white people. Okay, well,
it says, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns, go ahead.
And the 7 crowns upon his head.
7 crowns meaning rulership. Okay, 7 heads and 10 horns, talking about that red dragon progressed to what? EU and NATO. Okay, and the crowns on the heads represents rulership. So this beast, this dragon, this serpent, this wicked, the wicked, because that's what the dragon is. The dragon is like the serpent, man.
When you go into it, because I believe in 1954, if she want to record, let her record. She just want attention.
We're in
Now,
a public place.
if you go back to the 50s, right? I believe it was 1949 I believe it's the 50s or something like that. I'll have to recap on it, right? You had the original European countries that came together and formulated the EU. There were 10 of them. So this is the prophecy right here. So these European countries came together and revived ancient Rome again. Okay?
Well,
that red dragon.
This is beautiful because the brother is talking about the serpent and how did the serpent deceive the nations. And when you look up the word dragon, it's basically synonymous with the serpent. Another word for a dragon is a serpent. And so this type of a dragon is more like when you see the typical physical appearance of a dragon, it's going to have like wings and legs and 4 legs, and you know what I'm saying? It breathes fire and all that stuff. But it is a serpent. Okay? So, and this was a red serpent. Okay? This was a red serpent, and right now, if you go into the scriptures, what people are classified as being red? And when you look around the earth right now, the people that are red, you can see their blood showing through their transparent skin. These are what the people, as you commonly know as being Europeans, Caucasians, or so-called white people. Okay, red. That's what you call them, rednecks. All right.
Education, what does it mean?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So these people, these same people you see that rule the earth now, they all use the Roman Empire. Okay? right? And they're the wicked. They're the wicked. They're the ungodly. Okay, they're the people of sin. Okay.